I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Quantum Business Golf Seminar because I believe in developing my own skills and in constant, never-ending improvement. And I had the honor of speaking with one of the presenters and creators of the program, Mr. Alan Bonk, and he talked to us about building a phenomenal team. Hiring staff can be a nerve-wracking experience for many business owners, and it's easy to understand why. If you choose the wrong people, they could hurt your business in all kinds of ways. They might be rude to your customers, they might be irresponsible and not have the same vision you have for your business. They could make judgment errors that could cost you thousands of dollars, or they might even steal from you. With all that weighing on your mind, how can you enjoy the process of putting your team together? I'll be the first to admit there are no guarantees. I've had staff challenges like any other business owner. But people always ask me for advice in this area because they see that I tend to attract a really high number of great applicants for every job opening I have. My turnover rate is really low, and employees that leave often come back. What's my secret? Well, I have a few. First, set out your intentions. Like anything else you do in business, you should start this process with the end goal in mind. By that, I mean you need to picture your ideal team. How many people are there? What are their responsibilities? What are their personalities like? What are their values? And how do they all function together as a team? Get as clear as you can about this vision and write down all the details. Then, for each position you need to hire, create 3 lists of qualities. First, must-haves, nice-to-haves, and deal-breakers. The must-haves, of course, are all the education, skills, abilities, and personality traits you can't live without. The nice-to-haves include all the other details you saw in your ideal vision, and the deal-breakers are any qualities that would make someone a complete misfit for your business. Alan, tell me, how do you figure out who the right people are to get on your team?
Well, figuring out who the right people are is actually a little easier than you might think. What we do at Quantum Business Golf International is we use a couple of strategies, and I'll give you a bit of sort of an overview of both of those if you'd like. The first thing that we look for in hiring somebody is core values, because you can train skills, you can teach people how to do tasks, but you can't train core values. You either have them or you don't. So you want to look for people that match your core values within your organization. That'd be the first thing.
Next, from your 3 lists, create your Help Wanted ad, making it crystal clear what you're looking for. Put it where your ideal employees would be most likely to see it. Obvious places are local newspapers, magazines, and websites. If you plan on hiring students, see if you can post ads on school bulletin boards or community boards where students tend to be. If you have a store, of course, you'll want to put up a sign there so customers can see it. People who already love your product or service often make the best employees. The goal is to have a large applicant base so you can choose the best fit for your organization.
We do something we call a superstar ad, and you can place that on websites like Monster or Workopolis, right? That's a really good source. So depending on what you're doing and what you're looking for, create an ad that is unique and stands out. And the key part of that is the subject line. You need to have a subject line that gets people's attention, because that's what pulls them into the ad in the first place. If you don't have a great subject line, doesn't matter what's in your ad, doesn't matter how great the job is, you're not going to get people looking at it.
After you select the ones who seem like the closest match to your ideal vision, prepare yourself for interviews. I like to have another person with me throughout the process, preferably one of my managers, someone I trust. They'll pick up on different things than I do, and we compare notes on each candidate. One warning, be careful not to ask anything that could be seen as remotely discriminatory. It's illegal to discriminate based on things like race, religion, sexuality, or age. I have a list of questions I always ask, although other questions may pop up during the interview. Obviously, I want to cover the basics. Does this candidate have all the skills and experience I'm looking for, or will they need extensive training? But I also ask lots of open-ended questions because I want to get a sense of their personality, their values, and how they prioritize tasks. I want to know how this person is going to function in my business when I'm not there to watch. I give them hypothetical situations that could come up in an average workday and ask how they would handle them. Because my businesses tend to be customer-centered, I ask them about examples of great customer service they have given or received. Remember, people are showing you the best side of themselves when they're interviewing for a job.
Typically what they'll do is they'll give us what they think we want to hear first. And then we do a little bit of, I guess, psychology on them, if you would. We don't say anything. We're silent. We just, look at our notes, don't really acknowledge what they've just said, and there's this really awkward pause where they're not sure what is next, okay? But what is next is from the heart. What comes out after is the real deal. So it's very cool. Yeah, very powerful.
Personally, I want my staff to come across as warm and welcoming towards my customers and towards each other. So if I don't feel warmth coming across when I interview them, I know they're not the right person for my team. And ultimately, I'm looking for leaders. I want people who take responsibility for themselves and don't make excuses. I want employees who share my values and give me peace of mind so I can relax knowing they are taking great care of my business. Of course, the best tool you can use during the interview process is your gut. Trust your intuition. Once you've narrowed the field down to a short list of candidates, do a full reference check. Ask their former employers what these people were like to work with and why they no longer work there. Find out what their responsibilities were exactly and see if there's anything in their resume that contradicts what their reference says. Ask if they would hire that person back again. For me, it makes sense to overhire. I'd rather have too many people on my team, so I'm always covered. I have many students who work on my staff, and they can only work a few hours a week, and some are just happy to work occasionally. You never know. Sometimes the people you hire just don't work out for one reason or another.
So, Alan, have you ever had somebody go through this process and then realize that you've made a mistake? You've hired somebody and you've made a mistake?
Sure. It's not foolproof. Nothing is. There's no system that's foolproof.
What would you recommend for new entrepreneurs who are in that exact situation? They've hired somebody and they realize that this is just not a fit and they need to do something about it. What would you recommend that they do, or how have you handled that?
Well, it's a hard situation to be in for anybody. Nobody likes to have to say, sorry, this isn't working. We have to let you go. That's just a tough thing. But the reality is you need to consider your business and you need to consider the rest of your team. Because often the problem with an employee that doesn't fit is they drag others down with them, right? From negativity, performance perspectives, right? Could be a number of things. So the bottom line is you have to take them aside and let them go. And I don't know if you know this or not, but McDonald's working manual actually has, I believe it's 7 solid pages on how to fire somebody. Okay? That is crazy. Like, you'd think it should be a paragraph at most. Well, the reason they do that is because it's a customer retention strategy, right? They know that if you can't make it at McDonald's, chances are there's a lot of fast food in your future. So they expect that you're going to be a customer, so they want to let you go on the kinds of terms that will keep you coming back as a customer, right? So think about and consider those things.
I believe the investment I make in my staff is one of the biggest factors in my success. I know how critical my team is in making my business run smoothly, and I don't take them for granted. It's so important to train new crew members as soon as they come on board. This helps instill good habits right away. It's also important to train your crew personally, or have it done by a manager or leader you can trust who knows how you like to have things done. I've occasionally had employees do things I don't like, such as banging blender jars on countertops to get the smoothie to pour out faster. The problem is that wrecks my counters and the blender jars. I see it as my responsibility to make sure everyone knows exactly what I expect from them and to do whatever I can to help them achieve it. Once, I realized a supervisor needed better training on how to clean the store properly at night. I wanted another supervisor to show her how to do it without embarrassing or undermining her in front of her colleague. So I pretended to accidentally schedule them both to close one evening, giving the supervisor who was struggling an opportunity to watch how the other one worked. I feel like I'm part of a team with my staff. I don't separate myself as the boss. I'm always respectful and never yell at them, even when I'm frustrated. I want to preserve the integrity of our relationship. Ken Blanchard wrote a great book called The 1 Minute Manager, and I've incorporated his philosophy into my approach to management. One aspect of this is giving very brief, specific reprimands when an employee has not lived up to your expectations. But the key is to remember to separate the person from the behavior. You want them to know you're disappointed with whatever it is they did or did not do, but you still respect them as a person. Equally, if not more important, is to catch employees in the act of doing something right. Let them know you recognize and appreciate their efforts. I invest a lot of time and money in training my leaders, and I give them bonuses and perks. I see it as part of my role to foster their leadership skills, build their confidence, and inspire them to go on and do great things in the world. This is part of the legacy I want to leave behind, and I feel a deep sense of satisfaction in my experience as an entrepreneur, knowing I can have a lasting impact on my team members. Your staff might be with you for a short time, but your effect on their lives can be profound. Consider what you're teaching them by example, and think of innovative ways you can be lifting them up, inspiring them to go above and beyond. Not just because it will do wonders for your business, but because it can truly help change the world. I'm Natalie Peace for The New Entrepreneur. Join me for our next segment when we help you build an awesome marketing plan. Yeah, brilliant. There it is. Yeah, we found it. Yeah, it's at the top. I believe. Yeah. Just saying. Did you like the look? Did you see it? Joey will see it later. Okay. Hot.
Why, thank you.